All right, hey guys, welcome to the video. If you're new here, my name's Curtis, and today I'm super excited because today I'm gonna be reviewing the house of Pierre Guillaume. Are you familiar with this house? So yeah, this is a house that I've been intrigued by and curious about for a very long time. I've heard, good things about some of their fragrances. So, I was just very intrigued and interested to try this house. So I ended up getting myself a sample set here. So this sample set comes with 15 fragrances. So the way I'm gonna break this down, I think, is because it comes with 15 fragrances, I'll be doing this review as a 3-part series. So in this first part that I'll be doing today, I'll just be reviewing 5 fragrances. Then for part 2, 5 fragrances, and for part 3, 5 fragrances. And I think the way I'm gonna do it this time is I'll be sampling these fragrances from a tester strip, and then out of the 5 fragrances for that particular set, my favorite one I'll end up putting on skin to kind of see how it develops and changes over time. So we'll roll through in that fashion. And in addition to that, I'm not going to be looking up any notes of these fragrances. I'm just going to be going purely off the vibe and kind of what these fragrances do for me. So I'll basically just be saying whether, I really enjoy it or not. So if you're curious to hear my thoughts on the house of Pierre Guillaume, then let's go. So when you get a sample set from Pierre Guillaume, it'll come in a box just like this. And then when you open it up, your fragrances will be sitting in the box just like this. And you'll have some, hope you can see that, some tester strips here that you can use to test the fragrances. So today I'll be reviewing these 5 fragrances here. All right, so first up, we have Venum. All right, let's get this one on the sample strip here, tester strip. 1 and 2. This one kind of has a fruitiness about it for sure. And there's like a darker undertone coming from here. It could be leather. Typically one thing I've noticed is that like fragrances that contain that have the name of like queer C-U-I-R typically contain leather. Now that might mean leather in like French or some other language.
I don't know because I haven't checked.
But that could be the case. There seems to be a slight floral quality to this one as well. Slightly musky. But yeah, it has definitely that fruitiness, kind of floral quality, and then a bit of leather is kind of what I'm getting here. This one smells interesting. This initial impression, I'll give this one a 7.5 out of 10. So Venum gets a 7.5. All right, so next up we have Musk Mai. All right, so let's give this one a couple sprays. 2 sprays. Oh, okay. So this one kind of has like a caramelized sweet tone to it. Interesting. Yeah, there could be some amber or vanilla in here as well. It's kind of like a caramelized sweetness. It definitely has a muskiness quality about it as well. It smells it kind of almost pushes into that gourmand territory, which I wouldn't necessarily expect given the name of this fragrance. But it definitely has a sweetness about it, pushes into that gourmand territory, has a bit of vanilla, kind of smells a bit caramelized. But I would say those gourmand facets are what really kind of carry this fragrance. And you guys know I'm not the biggest fan of gourmand fragrances. But for me, this is just okay for me. So Musk Mai gets a 6 out of 10. So next up we have Le Musk Lao. All right, so let's give this fragrance a blast here. Okay. So yeah, this one is definitely musky. It has kind of like almost like a citrusy kind of greenness to it as well. And it could have like I feel like this has florals in it. Could be white florals, maybe some jasmine possibly. But this is definitely a lighter fragrance, so I feel like on the skin it's gonna wear quite light. But it definitely has a fresh and cleanness about it that I do enjoy. Yeah, I like this one. I do like this one. It is very light and airy, quite aromatic, but it's just fresh and clean. And it has a slight citrusy greenness to it that I'm enjoying. Yeah, I'll give this one a 7.5. So Le Musk Lao gets a 7.5. All right, so next up we have Morning in Tapasa. All right, so let's get this one on the strip here. 2 sprays. This one again is kind of pushing in that fresh direction. Has kind of a muskiness about it as well. Some citruses. But doesn't really kind of jump out and grab me. I mean, I've definitely smelled something like this before. It's quite aromatic. Just fresh, clean, citrusy is definitely what I'm getting here. I mean, I feel like this would work really well in the summer heat for sure. But yeah, again, I feel like this is another fragrance that's quite light and airy. So if you live in like a really humid climate, this kind of fragrance could work really well. But this one's just okay for me. So Morning in Tapasa gets a 6.5. All right, and last up we have Yuzu AB. So I'm assuming this one has yuzu in it. So we'll see how this kind of comes off. I imagine it will be a fresh fragrance, but we'll see. Yes, it is very sparkly, kind of zesty fresh. I can smell it now. This one smells just very, very refreshing. I like this one. This has a really realistic yuzu smell to it. Kind of lemony yuzu-ish. But it kind of smells like, almost like the zest or the rind of the yuzu. But in combination with some juice that's being squeezed. This one is extremely refreshing. Man, this smells good. Especially in the kind of weather that we're having now. Man, this one would be a perfect fit. I'm kind of picking up like on a slight minty quality. I'm not sure if this fragrance has any mint in it or not, but in the background, there's like a subtle hint of mint that I'm kind of picking up on. It just kind of gives it like a cooling freshness. So Yuzu AB gets an 8. All right, guys, so I'm gonna let these fragrances dry down on these strips for a little bit, and then I'll come back and see how the scent has developed, and then I'll give my final rating for these fragrances. All right, guys, so it's been about an hour, so let's see how these fragrances have kind of dried down on these strips and see if they've developed and see if my thoughts has changed about these fragrances. So first up, we have the dry down of Venum. So let's see. So yeah, that leather in this fragrance has really started to push forward a bit more. And that fruitiness has kind of subsided, but there's also a floral quality to this that is really quite prominent here. I do like this. But I would say my score for this one stays at about a 7.5. So Venum gets a 7.5. Next up, we have Musk Mai. Yeah, so this one is really in that gourmand territory. It's that caramelized vanilla, and that has stayed true from when I first initially sprayed this. Yeah, I feel like this is a heavier fragrance for sure, but it still has kind of a lightness about it. I wouldn't say it's like a sticky type of gourmand fragrance. It's kind of a lighter gourmand. This is okay for me, just okay. Next up, we have Le Musk Lao. So let's see how this is dried down. This one's very light, kind of a fresh, musky scent. Yeah, actually, I don't smell a whole lot on the tester strip, so I feel like maybe this isn't the best performer. Yeah, this one's just okay for me. Next up, we have Morning in Tapasa. Yeah, there's definitely like a fruity kind of greenness to this. There's a gingery quality about here and about this, and I kind of feel like something is reminding me slightly of Goldfield and Banks Ingenious Ginger. These two fragrances are not the same by any means, but I don't know, maybe it's the ginger. I feel like there's ginger in here. I don't know if there is. I haven't checked the notes, but there could be ginger in here. But there's something about this that's reminding me about Ingenious Ginger from Goldfield and Banks. Yeah, I mean, I do like this one. Okay, let me put this one aside for a second. Let's get our last fragrance. Yuzu, what was it? Yuzu AB. Yeah, hands down, this one's my favorite. Hands down, this one is my favorite. I do like Morning and Tapasa, the Drydown for sure. But yeah, this one is my favorite from today's group. So I'm gonna be putting Yuzu AB on my skin here and see if this scent profile changes at all. All right, give it a spray. See how this smells on skin. This has like a very effervescent kind of fizziness to it. Man, this smells good. Like I said, it's kind of like the rindy peel of the yuzu, but also in combination with like juice, the juice from the yuzu being squeezed all over. That's kind of what I'm getting here. It definitely has a bitterness to it, and there's a slight greenness to it. But man, this smells good. This would be extremely refreshing in the humid temperatures. And it seems like off skin, in the back, very, very subtly, there could be like some orange blossom in here, possibly. Or even some jasmine, I'm not sure. But yeah, this is good. This one's just very fresh, clean, effervescent, aromatic. Yeah, a good one. This one was my favorite of the day. So Yuzu AB gets an 8. Yeah, really, really enjoy this fragrance. Yeah, so stay tuned for part 2, where I'll be reviewing the next 5 fragrances. All right, guys, so that's all I have for you for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's content. And let me know down in the comment section, do you know of the house Pierre Guillaume? And do you have any favorite fragrances from that house? I'd love to hear about them. All right, guys, well, I hope you all are staying healthy and well, and I'll see you in the next video.